They're taking the gloves off now. Gary Gensler, they're all coming after him. This could get really, really ugly, but could be the greatest opportunity in human history. Buckle up.
I ain't gonna give in now, I just gotta live this now. I ain't gonna be man, I'ma kill this stuff real quick. I'ma go take it to town, cause I gotta be that king in their ring when I'm knocking them out when I'm back with the whip. Cause I am just up on the journey, know that I'm just going insane.
Warriors rise. Grand rising. Good evening, warriors all over the world. Excited to be with you guys today. We're going to go over, and what we're going to break down in this video is how they are now going after Gary Gensler, trying to kick him out of the SEC. What is happening in historical cycles now is when we start to get battles within our own country, that means there's a massive transition. So people say there's a recession and a depression. I'm saying there's a transition. And what we've taught over 6,000 warriors is stay calm. There is no get rich quick. But if you do this correctly and you understand how economic cycles work, it's the greatest opportunity in history to shift your family's timeline. Number one, there is no get rich quick. Number two is you have to have a game plan. Number three is you have to have an exit strategy. And number four, you need to make sure you diversify and follow what the wealthy are doing. 4 years ago, I lost my money 3 times because I was indoctrinated deeply into the system. Everybody online was telling me how to take action and make money, but nobody was teaching me how to repair the foundation. So I went in, repaired the plumbing, repaired the foundation, realized that true investors don't try to get rich quick, but get wealthy for sure by hitting boom and bust cycles, pulling profits, securing, growing, repeating the process. So I'm going to dive into this today, how they're going after Gary Gensler now. We're going to break down what is happening with our economy. And at the end of this video, if you want to see how I've helped 6,000 warriors worldwide change their wealth paradigm, make sure you stay till the end. All right, so let's dive right into this. So this is pretty wild. This is Rep. Warren Davis. I'm going to show you a video from, how long ago is this? This was 1 year ago. So this is how fast things are moving. If you guys remember, I mean, the SEC against Ripple case started in December 2020. I mean, we've been on this patient journey. Many people have jumped off the ship, and I truly believe that this is going to be one of the greatest missed opportunities in our living history. But what we've learned over maturity is that most people, when they hit the opportunity, are going to get in the greed state of mind because they never built a foundation. And the big money is going to pull profits and you're going to lose. You have to have a game plan. You have to have an exit strategy. I'm going to keep repeating the same stuff for fear of being judged. I don't care what the comments say, because what you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes your unconscious activity. You're taught to go to school, get a 401k. You're putting your money in a 401k, trusting someone else to manage your retirement. That's hope. Hope is not a strategy. You're hoping that they put it in the right vehicles. You're hoping that you can beat or be lucky and not hit a market cycle that drops you. If you hit a stock market crash and your 401k crash, it takes you 4 years to come back just to baseline. Okay. You're trusting someone else with your hard-earned money and your retirement. The 401k was a casino before 1974. The 401k was created after we turned on the printing machine full blast with nothing backing our currency after 1971. So you're just putting your money, and I'm not saying 401ks are bad, but it should be part of your investment strategy. The stock market should be a part of your investment strategy, not your retirement plan. Just my opinion, not a financial advisor. All right, so let's watch this first video. This is where Rep. Warren is going in on Gary Gensler. Well, now Rep. Warren in 2023 is now going full bore and trying to kick Gensler out of the SEC.
Today. In 2018, there was a New York Times article that discusses your views on blockchain and various cryptocurrencies. One of the cryptocurrencies discussed in the article was Ethereum. In the article, you say that Ether could have problems with securities laws because some of the first tokens were sold by the Ethereum Foundation before the network was actually functional. You go on to say that Ethereum could get off the hook from securities laws due to the fact that it developed into a decentralized network. You've repeatedly said that you believe initial coin offering tokens are securities, but Right here, it's sounding like you're acknowledging that Ether transitioned from what would have been a security into a commodity once the network was adequately decentralized. Can you clarify when a token is sufficiently decentralized to no longer be a security in your view?
I thank you for that. And digging back to an article from 3 years ago, but I was honored to study and research these issues at MIT. And what I was commenting on then was a process that the SEC was going forward on. And I think then head of corporate finance was talking about in that time frame. And so without going into any one token, what I think the core test is, and it's the test the Supreme Court has taken up numerous times with a broad brush, are you raising money from others and the investing public anticipating profits based upon the efforts in some collective group of individuals? That's central test. It's called the Howey test. There's other broad brushes with regard to this as well, as to when something is a note, called the Reeves test that Thurgood Marshall wrote a few decades ago. Fundamentally, the SEC is here to help protect the public from fraud, and that's why Congress painted with a broad brush.
Yeah, thanks for the clarification.
So he's going to go in on him now a little bit. So he says Congress paints it with a broad brush. Do they do that with all other industries, just a broad brush across the industries?
And unfortunately, Congress didn't create the Howey test. The courts did. The same with the Reeves. And frankly, we're dependent on this patchwork of regulation by enforcement. Obviously, there are people that feel that a particular, token like Ether is treated differently than one like XRP, for example, is something, a matter that's before you right now.
Okay, so I'm going to leave it right there. So I just want to give you context. So that was a year ago, right? And so now Senator Warren Davis, he is now going in. So, yep, he said it's correct. A long series of abuse. I'm introducing legislation to remove the chairman of the Securities Exchange Commission and replace the role with an executive director that reports to the board where authority resides. Former chairs and SECs are ineligible. And so this goes into in 60 something words. The SEC Commissioner Hester Pierce has managed to articulate all the hits awful close to home. Says today's commission tells entrepreneurs trying to do new things in the markets to come in and register. When entrepreneurs find they cannot, the commission dismisses the possibility of making practical adjustments to our registration framework to help entrepreneurs register, and instead rewards their good faith with enforcement action. Today's commission treats notice and comment rulemaking process that is not conversation, but a threat. This is Hester Pierce. She's in the SEC. So now we're starting to see, the reason why I bring this up is because I always pull myself to the macro view. You're starting to see, which with Ray Dalio, you guys, I'm an avid studier. Okay. So I spend hours a day studying. I got all my books here, The Changing World Order. Okay, we got all these books, Ray Dalio. So this is the changing world order. We're going through a change of the world order, a change in power, the debt crisis. It's a little bit deeper to understand, but since I have a banking degree and my CFO, we both came from banking. He's our CFO. He's a genius in numbers. So when I see something like I bonds are about to invert again, I go to him and get a deeper understanding. But guys, what's happening now in the cycle is we have a war narrative, climate change narrative, a social geopolitical narrative. And now we're starting to see within our own countries battling against each other. Okay. So the half the country or half the, like the Republicans or whatever it is. So two sides of the party are trying to kick the other party out completely. I know there's always been battles, but now they're trying to point out each other's major wrongdoing, right? So what you're going to start to see is the power structure falter, and then they're going to start to create some socio-geopolitical, which you're doing now, separation. And then we're going to start to battle, and then there's going to be a massive transition from the working poor, the middle class down to the working poor. It's going to be a massive wealth gap. Billionaires are going to become trillionaires. Being a millionaire is going to mean nothing now. Millionaires are going to become billionaires. And some of us who did it correctly, which is going to be you and your family, okay, is going to move into the higher class. And I don't mean it, I love everybody, but what I mean is there's nothing wrong with wealth. There's nothing wrong with wealth. Money is not evil. It's a tool and a resource. You should be, Jesus had an accountant, guys. Do you think people in poverty run around with an accountant? I'll get off that. Okay. So this is another tweet from Warren Davis. It says Gary Gensler's record of failures to protect investors and abuses of power make it clear the need to restructure the SEC. See you in the morning, Gary Gensler. I don't know. There must be a meeting going on today. Okay. So then we have the House of Representatives. So Kevin McCarthy, the House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, gives remarks at the New York Stock Exchange. So I just want you to hear from his perspective. And I'm not getting political here, guys. They're saying left or right. Just listen to what they say, because they're telling you the exact same thing I'm telling you on how effed up our economy is.
I want to talk to you about the debate that is not happening in Washington, but should be happening over our national debt. It's a debate that directly affects the lives of every single American. America deserves to hear the truth. I'm going to start just with the facts. Our national debt is too high, far too high. And the problem is getting worse, not better. We are now.
So here's what's going to happen is, each party is going to start pointing out the flaws. But like he said, I like what he said. I'm going to point out the facts. The facts are we're effed as an economy. China is buried in debt. So when America and China, two of the biggest superpowers, are buried in debt and they can't policy their way out of it, what do? War. War creates GDP growth.
Now, $31 trillion in debt. That's more the entire economy of America, 20% more. Think for a moment. That is unsustainable. Over the next 10 years, the United States will pay $10.5 trillion just in interest on our debt.
Now listen to what he's about to say. He's going to put that in perspective. Let that sink in. 10.5 trillion on our debt in the next 10 years. He's going to talk about how much we paid since 1940 and think about how much money they printed in the last 24 months.
Put that in perspective. Since 1940 until today, we have paid $9 trillion of interest.
Okay, so he goes on and on. He's working at, his political views, blah, blah, blah. But the facts are there, right? 31 trillion in debt. We're going to pay 10 trillion in the next 10 years. And since 1940, we paid 9 trillion. Let these numbers sink in. Have you ever seen how big $1 billion is? We're talking trillions now. Money has to move at the speed of light. Money needs to become quantum. They need velocity of money to fix this. So try not to get caught up in which one's right, which one's left, which one's up. They all have an agenda. I have an agenda. All of us have an agenda. We all have different viewpoints. So don't get all twisted in this, guys. You have an agenda when you do your social. You have an agenda when you're talking to people. All of us have our own bias. We have our own fingerprint, our own DNA. My agenda is unconditional love without expectations. Am I going to get everything right? Absolutely not. These are all my opinion. These are all my opinion. I've gotten a lot of things wrong, but I've gotten a lot of things right. I'm not looking for perfection, but progress. But we're all trying to sell an agenda. There's people that are opposing mine, and that's okay. That's what I'm trying to get people out of. Let people have their opinion. Let them be angry all the time. Let them fight an invisible enemy. Every person has the ability to act and get themselves out of poverty. Every person. Every single person. When humans understand we all have the ability to rise into a higher consciousness, then all the power structure goes away. But until every human does that, which they're not, but you can. So China to be the top world growth source in the next 5 years, IMF says there's a big transition over to power, over to China. If you dive into Ray Dalio's stuff, and the thing with Ray Dalio, I mean, we're looking, this is what he does. He's not just saying, oh, I think, I hope. He's breaking down cycles, numbers in detail, 500 years back. It says, this is our computer-generated reading for the United States. Based on our latest readings of key indicator, the United States appears to be a superpower, number one among major countries today in a gradual decline. As shown in the table below, the key strengths of the United States that put it in this position is strong capital markets and financial center. In innovation and technology, its high level of education, its strong military, its reserve currency status, its high economic output, and its wealth natural resources. Its weakest are the unfavorable economic financial positions and its large domestic conflicts. Bingo. So it says the 8 major measures of power are very strong today, but are in aggregate falling slowly. So when people ask me, is the dollar going to collapse? No, it's not going to go to zero. It's not going to disappear. It is the world's reserve currency. But there is something happening. The United States big cycle looks very unfavorable. We are moving slowly, methodically down this power pole, and we're transitioning the power over to China. This is happening right now as we speak, as we sit. We're watching a historical shift of power, and it seems like this regime is passing that power over. Okay, there's something shifting here, guys. I don't know. I'm guessing like everybody else, but I'm making educated guesses by not just reading headlines, but diving into documents. The U.S. is dangerously dependent on China trade, weakening America in any conflict over Taiwan. The word conflict, the word war, right? There's a war narrative. When you need money, when policies are not working, you go to war. It creates GDP growth. So Xi Jinping hits out as United States, Xi Jinping, I can't pronounce his name, hits out at U.S. as he urges China's private firms to fight alongside Communist Party. Man, so our lives are changing pretty dramatically right now. But the great thing about this family, this is it. This is our Super Bowl. Okay, here's what's going to happen, in my opinion. The back end of the markets, the capital markets, which is stock markets, crypto market, are all going to get pulled back because of Shemitah before September. It's a market cycle. We're going to have a mini, I wouldn't call it a bull run, a mini pump. Okay, that's going to get liquidated. There's going to be regulation coming in probably around 2023, 2020 to 2025. We're going to have a nice little bull run in the cryptocurrency markets. Remember, crypto is not your retirement. Get out of that mindset. I had to mature out of that. Crypto is not your retirement. Crypto is one of your investment strategies that allows you to gain a large amount of wealth in a boom and bust cycle. You have to exit when everybody's excited, not in euphoria, because you're going to get wrecked. You need to, when people are getting excited and people at the grocery store are starting to tell you about Bitcoin and all this stuff, people that normally didn't talk about it, it's time to start exiting the market. When you exit, you need to secure it into retirement vehicles, maybe some real estate, leverage life insurance, maybe some precious metals, and secure that shit. And then put some on the sidelines to buy back into these boom and bust cycles. So that way you're secure in your retirement. You're creating generational wealth, you're reducing the stress of debt, you're getting rid of debt, and you have a calmness of mind. There is no get rich quick. It doesn't exist, guys. Get out of that mindset. You can do this. I'm going to show you how I've helped 6,000 warriors stop trying to take action, back up, and fix the foundation. If you go through my 120-day challenge, you will radically change your life. It's here and here, learning discipline, consistency, reconnecting with your body through meditation, breathing, nutrition, creating discipline, consistent activities, creating a vision for your family, goal setting. That's how you get wealthy. Once you do that, then you take action on the wealth pillars, because until you fix this and you fix this, you're indoctrinated. If you have $100,000 right now, and you are buried in bills, if you have $1 million, you're going to have $1 million worth of bills because you haven't changed anything. All you change is how much input you have. The output stays the same. Until you understand this and change this around wealth programming, you will always be the same. That's why I got wrecked 3 times. No longer line drawn in the sand. There will be wealth in my family. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. Here's how we've helped over 6,000 warriors. After this video, if you click the description down below, you can join 7 days for free in 2023. Very proud and honored to talk about this program every day because the impact it's made on people's lives. See you on the inside. Warriors, let's get your shit together.
Trying to keep you trapped. 2017, I walked out of a high-paid vice president job because I was absolutely miserable. Working 16 to 19 hours a day because that's what the system taught me to do. And what I discovered through countless hours of meditation, research, reading books, understanding how the millionaires and billionaires operate, the system is designed to keep you trapped. Today, I own multiple companies. I travel all over the world. I'm financially free, and that's exactly why I created this community of like-minded warriors coming together called the 3T Warrior Academy. Now, I don't say this to brag. I'm sharing this with you to show you what's possible for you. Whether you're just starting out or you're looking to take your life to another level, we believe the Warrior Academy has something for everybody. Processes that take you step by step through disciplined, consistent activities, and that's exactly what you're going to get. Our 120-day challenge, all you have to do is open up the app and take it day by day. We're going to take you through the disciplined, consistent activities to take your life to the next level. Within 1 week, you're going to feel a difference. Within a month, people are going to notice a change in you. That's how powerful this 120-day challenge is. So if you're truly ready to break free from the old paradigm into a new paradigm of discipline, consistency, great relationship with your family, financial freedom, and learning the pillars of wealth that'll change your life and generational wealth to come, I'm going to invite you to do our program for 7 days for free. The 120-day challenge has changed over 5,000 warriors' lives worldwide, and we hope to be yours next.
Warriors, let's get your together. Let's go.